Are you thinking about moving to the Knoxville, Tennessee area and you've heard about West Knoxville, or maybe you're just curious about different parts of Knoxville? Well, today we are going to jump into the map and we're going to explore what exactly West Knoxville is. Let's get started. All right, West Knoxville. So I'm old school. I grew up here. And when I grew up here, Hardin Valley didn't even exist. So if you're like, I don't even know what Hardin Valley is, then that's fine. But I do just want to say that depending on when you grew up here, West Knoxville is going to be different things to different people. For the purposes of what we're talking about today, I'm essentially saying West Knoxville is anything from the Bearden area. So like about Bearden Hill, let's say the paper mill exit. So that is right here, the paper mill exit, anything from the paper mill exit west. So going towards Nashville, okay? And actually what's funny is I actually graduated from West High School. West High School what? And it's funny because it's called West High School because it's west of downtown, but I don't even necessarily consider that West Knoxville. So it's a little too far east actually. But so for the purpose of this, we're gonna say everything from the paper mill exit over is West Knoxville. So if we work our way from downtown, from that paper mill exit west, we have a lot going on. Tons of residential, lots of shopping options, and lots of different vibes. So let's talk about the Bearden area and the West Hills area. So Bearden West Hills, that's kind of a section along Kingston Pike. And actually Bearden, I'm kind of breaking my rule about paper mill, but this is where you have like a cycle bar. This is where you have a First Watch. This is where you have Lululemon. So this is more like boutique-y type places. You've got some boutique-y type restaurants. Just kind of that run along that section of Kingston Pike. And then as we get further out, more chains, less boutiques, more like Target. If we go all the way out west, we're talking about Costco. So from a shopping perspective, you get kind of boutique-y to more chain. And I also want to point out that there's some really cool older neighborhoods in this area, like just outside West Hills, the Bearden area. So that's like Westmoreland Heights. Those are really nice big houses. You've got Dean Hill. These are 1970s builds, 1960s, really cool basement ranchers. They're just gorgeous. And then West Hills, this reminds me of like where Chip and Joanna Gaines would go. This is where you want the cheapest house and the best neighborhood because you're going to always have value. Now, all that being said, everywhere I'm listing to you, notice what is running through here. What is running through is I-40, I-75, AKA it's loud. Okay. So if you do not like road noise, then I would be very careful about kind of sticking to this part of West Knoxville close into the interstate. There are a couple pockets of places I want to tell you about. Rocky Hill, super cute community. If we keep moving west, we get further towards North Shore, we get to Westland, we get to Ebenezer, the Bluegrass area, really nice AL lots. There's even like a golf course community, Getty's View, and that's over here. So what's interesting about this is that for the most part, there's not a ton of new construction. There's like a new construction neighborhood off Westland. There's some like one-off pockets, but it's most of the property here that we're talking about in this area is super established. And then you have a huge range of prices. So this is 37922, this area here. And that's like I said, Ebenezer, that's North Shore. Some of this stuff is waterfront property and it's $1 million. And some of it, there's a neighborhood called Bennington off of Ebenezer, super cute, really nice. And those houses are like $300,000 to $450,000, depending on age, condition, and size. So there's a huge range of opportunity and price points. It is competitive to be in this area, again, because of the schools, but this is kind of a cute little pocket of West Knox. And if I go north, if I go up Ebenezer towards Cedar Bluff, this is, you may have heard me mention this before in other videos, but Cedar Bluff is my most hated intersection of all time. This is literal disaster. No matter which way you're going, at any time of the day, I feel like it's always a train wreck. And I hate especially getting off 40, going westbound and trying to go to like basically cutting across. Cedar Bluff is miserable. It's literally miserable. And people act like they don't even know how to use their blinkers. It's horrible. And then that was a little bit of a tangent. I apologize. So that being said, I will say what's interesting about Cedar Bluff is on either end of it, there's a Kroger. And the Kroger that is closer to Kingston Pike is a better Kroger, in my opinion. They both have a Starbucks, but one is like that super Kroger. It's a Kroger Marketplace, and you can buy clothes in there. And there's also a Chewy's at that one. I don't know if you know about Chewy's, but they have good chips, and they're a little hot. What is that sauce they have? Like that Chewy's sauce? It's like a Chipotle ranch. Oh my God, it's so good. Anyways, so that's the Kroger down here. See how it says Marketplace shopping? If you go up Cedar Bluff to the other end, then you have another Kroger, which I think is really funny. But Kroger is, our hallmark grocery store. So anyways, that being said, what I will say about this area is I want you to notice that, okay, so if we talk about West Knoxville high schools, we've got Bearden High School. So that's like over here by the Target. We've got Carnes High School. That's back over here. We've got Hardin Valley, which did not even exist when I was in high school here in Knoxville. And we've got Farragut High School. So those to me are the four big high schools when we're talking West Knoxville related to Knox County schools. Now, there are also, it's like private city row, like all private schools. There is a row essentially of private schools, okay? And it's Knoxville Catholic. So Knoxville Catholic is like here's Cedar Bluff, right? And then Knoxville Catholic is over here. Then if you go down Dutchtown, you've got CAK, Christian Academy, and then you've got Webb. So those are all within like 2 miles of each other. CAK, Christian Academy of Knoxville, and Webb are literally like next door to each other. And then Grace Christian is in Carnes. So that's another West Knox. And it borders on, is this West Knox or not? But we'll go with it. Grace, West Knoxville in Carnes. That is another one of our private schools. And then we have a couple like private middle schools I want to mention. So you've got the Episcopal School. That one is off Lovell Road. So it is deep West Knoxville. Lovell Road here. Is that right? Yes, that is right. So the Episcopal School of Knoxville is over off Yarnell, I think. And then there's also like All Saints, like a Catholic middle school over off Paper Mill, North Shore. So pretty much our major private schools you're going to find in the West Knoxville area. So if that tells you, you can deduce whatever you want from what I'm telling you about that, but that's where you're going to find the major private schools. And I don't actually think I'm leaving off. I don't want to say that, but I'm trying to think. Now there's other private schools I can think of in like Morristown and stuff like that. But in terms of what's in Knoxville and our big private schools, they're primarily West Knoxville area. So anyhow, we've talked about Ebenezer, we've talked about Cedar Bluff. Then over here you have Middlebrook Pike, Robinson Road. Middlebrook Pike, actually, when I was a young lad, it was just a 2-lane road. So just to tell you, and now it goes Middlebrook Pike to Hardin Valley. So it has exploded. But this is also noticed as we're going west, this in gray. So this is all like part of like Knox City. You're going to pay city taxes, and then we're getting out into county where you will just have county only taxes. So anyhow, fun fact about that. As you get north, when it comes to like the Cedar Bluff area, the more rural it feels, the more it feels just like grass and trees. This Carnes area, you do have quite a bit of new construction out here, and a lot of the properties here, in my mind, I think like they're on the side of a cliff. So that's just something to kind of keep note of when you're looking at, like the Carnes Ball Camp area. More new construction here probably than anywhere we've seen so far. Notice that we've kind of gone out from downtown, but also some of that is literally on the side of the cliff. There's also, to me, Carnes, personally, there's nothing wrong with Carnes. I was actually zoned for Karns High School, even though it was the further high school to where I went. Actually, the closest high school to me was Bearden High School. So I grew up off Robinson Road, and Bearden was my closest high school. However, because of the zoning, we were zoned for Karns. Well, for whatever reason, my mom sent us to my brother and I to West High School. And then my sister, who's 6 years younger, she went to Bearden. Literally from my mom's house, where she still lives, where I grew up, Bearden High School is a 5-minute drive. If that. Okay, Karns is like 15 minutes. West High School is like 15 minutes. So anyway, some of the zoning can be wonky. It obviously has to do with how full the schools are, etc. But my point is with Karns is that it feels further out. Like, to me, it feels extremely inconvenient. But I also live in Seymour, which is also further out. So, I mean, I'm just telling you, trying to tell you all the things. But because Hardin Valley has kind of exploded, Karns feels a bit more on the map, if that makes sense. If I were I just think like closer down to the Cedar Bluff area, Robinson Road, Middlebrook, Pike is just more accessible to everything, in my opinion. So Karns. Now, let's talk about the big West Knox heavy hitters, and that would be Hardin Valley and Farragut. So Farragut is its little own community. And Farragut is also where you're going to find Turkey Creek. That's what all this is in yellow. Turkey Creek. That's where the Top Golf is. That's where the Costco is. That's where you can find, that's where you're going to go to probably shop. That's where you're going to go to, there are like boutique type stuff, like little boutiques. There's also a Kroger there in Farragut, and they have a Crow bar, like they call it. It's a bar, and you can drink while you're grocery shopping. So if you want to get down like that, you can get down like that in Farragut. And they have like, there's a restaurant or a place called 35 North. It's like a swanky food truck. It's not your typical food truck park. There's coffee shops and, just all kinds of just places to hang, places to eat. It's probably the most like accessible to stuff in terms of shopping and food. Now, Farragut has the gamut of properties in terms of like old, built in the 60s, built in the 50s, to newer, swankier, etc. So the further out you get, this isn't like a solid fast and hard rule, but the further out you get in Farragut, so that is all this, the newer you're going to get. The closer in, the older you're going to be, because Farragut is an established community. It's been there for I don't know how long. So that means a lot of the land is taken up. So what people are doing is kind of like builders have developed almost essentially as far as you can go, still be in Knox County for the schools, but basically, I mean, they've just taken up all the land is what I'm trying to get at. Now, there are some waterfront properties all through West Knoxville. So while we're talking about Farragut, I just want to show you, like, you could be in a neighborhood that either you have a dock, or the neighborhood has some sort of a dock or like a paddleboard launch or something like that. So you can find that type of neighborhood in Farragut. And then also notice that all of this, like I'm following the river, waterfront properties kind of all throughout. Now, these back here that are on the edge of glory, they feel like they're on the edge of glory. They are way, way back there. So anyways, that's a reference to Lady Gaga, in case you didn't know, because it probably sounds kind of weird, but anyhow. Okay, Farragut and Concord to me are one and the same. In my mind, it's the same thing. Concord, I do associate with like waterfront property. So you've got Foxden, it's an established golfing community, and then you've got like brand new $1 million, neighborhoods with gorgeous houses, whatever. So all kinds of stuff. And Foxden is actually like, those are nice houses, but they've been there since the 70s, right? So you've got these like gorgeous 1970s houses, and then you've got brand new construction. So that is Farragut. Largely, the further you get from 40, 75, the more residential it's going to be. There is an area called Choto, and that's a newer area, newer construction, and that's almost essentially as far as you can go on the Knox County line. And that is, okay, yeah, here. So this is Choto. So this section right here, and I'm going to zoom out. This is almost as far as we can get to the county line. Notice how far we are. This is easily a 20-ish minute drive from one end of Farragut to the other. I mean, like I've mentioned before, Knoxville is super spread out. So anyhow, cheers. People love that. It's a little marina. You can go there and drink. You can pull your boat up in the summer. It's a great place to be. Okay, so just for context as well, Farragut to me is everything from Pellissippi Parkway. So that is this right here, this kind of yellow. From Pellissippi Parkway west, south. So this is Farragut. So everything that's Pellissippi and then south of 40, which is right here, that is Farragut. In my mind, which is a crazy place to be, everything north of 40 and west of Pellissippi. So this little piece of the pie here is Hardin Valley. Now you see this little gray here? That is technically still Farragut Incorporated. So there are some little pockets still technically of Farragut, but in my mind, if you're north of 40, you are in Hardin Valley. And Hardin Valley, for the most part, is new construction. You know, you will have some like early 2000s builds, stuff like that. Hardin Valley has started to see, like, now there are some like restaurants coming in. There's like a Hot Works gym over there, which I'm super jealous about. There's Don Gallo, a Double Dog. So all this Maple Street, if you want to have a good biscuit, you gotta go to Maple Street Biscuit Company. Anyways, there's also one off Kingston Pike. I'm just telling you, sort of. But most of what you're going to find here is going to be new construction, and it's going to be high dollar. So Hardin Valley, to me, is a sister of Farragut. People are essentially moving here because of the schools. Oh my gosh, look at this. Look what, you see that? He's messing up my video. It's a stink bug. We don't need that in here. He scared me. Okay, sorry for the disruption. So Hardin Valley, also you can tell that there is some waterfront property, and some parts of Hardin Valley have horrible internet service. Now, back here, like towards Mountain Hill, they are putting fiber in, so that's just a fun fact. But, you know, again, I would bear in mind, where are you looking in relation to the interstate? Can you hear the interstate? And just know that if you're wanting to be close to like shopping, etc., then you're going to want to get closer to 40, to Turkey Creek, etc. Like I would be closer down. To me, Hardin Valley feels pretty far out. I do think that at some point, see this road, this Hardin Valley Road. So that essentially was Middlebrook Pike, turns into Hardin Valley. And right now, it goes down to a 2-lane road. So if you just follow this out, this is a bunch of new construction. And I do foresee that that's going to be a problem. I also want to point out that right now in Hardin Valley, your grocery store is Food City. Like that's it. There's a Food City down the street. Like, see that? So probably a mile or so down the street. It's a nicer Food City. But I mean, you're going to have to leave Hardin Valley to go where you want. And Hardin Valley is not really walkable, but it is gorgeous new construction, high property values. So anyways, that is West Knoxville. I don't want to say quick and dirty because I feel like it wasn't quick, and it probably was kind of, I mean, it's my thoughts about West Knoxville. So things to keep in mind: 4 big high schools, 4 county high schools. You're going to have Bearden, that's over here, Farragut over here, Hardin Valley Academy, and then Carnes. So those are our 4 kind of major high schools. And then obviously you've got middle schools and elementaries that trickle up into those, but just for context. And then West Knoxville is going to be where you're going to find the most diversity of shopping. That's going to be the most diversity of like boutique type places, whether that's for clothes, for working out, for restaurants. And then you also have, you know, West Knoxville is going to be where your Whole Foods is. Your Whole Foods is in Bearden, Ulta, REI, stuff like that. That's in that off that paper mill exit. So definitely West Knoxville is where, like, if you're going to go Christmas shopping, that's probably where you go. So anyways, I think that's all for now. We'll go tour it. Stay tuned or check out my vlog tour, because then you can see me walking the streets of West Knoxville. But until next time, I'm Haley Jones, and I'll see you soon.